crowds really flocked into day 3 of Riva del Garda Festival, during which we took the opportunity to look at some of the hidden gems. Now, you might have seen the fun me and Chris had here in Riva del Garda a few years ago on the M1 Sporttechnik Spitzing bike, which is next to me on the right hand here. But this bike really excites me. It's the M1 Erzberg, 160mm travel front and rear, the coil shock there. But you have got the option of having 170mm travel on the rear too. Bros motor, Bros S-Mag in there, 750 watt-hour battery. Now, the great thing about the M1 bikes is you can actually have them either as pedelecs or actually as S-pedelecs. Now, S-pedelec is 45 kilometers an hour. Now, I did have some great fun on a giant bike a few months ago. And you know what? If you've got the land or you live in a certain country, it's well worth having a go on an S-pedelec, that's for sure. We are at the Magura stand, and folks, news today is that they've come out with a whole new range of clothing, 15 different items. You've got mountain bike, you've got streetwear, but obviously what you guys need to know from Magura is all about brakes. Now, let me explain to you that there's actually different parts of the system here when you're choosing your e-mountain bike brake. And I've said many times that Magura are one of the best, in my opinion, when it comes to e-mountain bikes. So, for example, we have here the different types of brake. We've got the MT8, MT7, and we've got the MT Trail. So when you choose your brake, first of all, you choose the type of brake. Then, of course, depending on where you ride, the type of riding you do, you'll obviously need a certain type of disc. So Magura offer 4 different types of disc. I'm particularly fond of the 220mm rotor there, and I probably use that front and rear because I'm about 90 kilos on a good day. Moving on, so you've got type of brake, got the disc. Now, what about the brake pad and the compound here? As you can see, 3 different types of brake pad available. So again, depends on whether you want longevity, whether you want a different feel to the brake. Depends again where you live, because I know for certain in the UK, when you ride trail centre type riding, there's a high kind of abrasion from the sandstone which comes from the surfacing which is done there, then you might want to go for a longer lasting pad. But it's not just that, there is a performance aspect to brake pads as well. I mean, take this chart here. In the dry conditions, there's 20% difference between the 3 different pads. But you've got conditions, so you've got performance in the dry, performance in the wet, you've got fading, you've got durability, and of course, you've got noise. So there's a lot in just brake pads alone. And of course, finally, is the lever. Now, I'm looking here. I think this HC3 is the one Danny McCaskill uses. And I'm actually like the standard aluminium lever that comes on the Pro brake. Like I said, comes with a carbon lever as well. So different levers, different pads, different discs, and different brakes. Dominic is from Magura. Dominic, brake is not just a brake, is it?
No, a brake is not just a brake. We all have different hand sizes. We are riding different. We are riding in different mountains. So it's always important to adjust, to fine tune the brake. We are all doing it with suspension and with bikes, but why not with brake? So this is our message, that you can also fine tune your brake to find the best performance for your ride.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think brakes are possibly one of the most important components on your e-mountain bike. So please tune in to get in it right. Thanks, Dominic.
Thank you.
Well, folks, finally, I can bring you an eMTB with the Bafang motor in it. Now, you guys have been asking me to do this for many years, and here it is, Alpek from Turin in northern Italy. And this is the Evoque bike. It's 2927.5 with the Bafang M500 motor in there. On the market for just over €6,000. This bike, like I said, has just come on the market this year. The cool thing about this bike, you can actually have an optional battery, which is 860 watt hours. But also, I think, which is quite unique about the Bafang system, is you can either go for 3, 5, or 9 modes on the head unit there. So you've got the head unit and the controller, which actually looks pretty nifty to use, actually, I have to say. So, yeah, good news for you guys. This is the Focus Jam Squared. We've got a 720 watt hour battery in here. And not only is it the way it's mounted, but also how the battery is charged too. As you can see on this, there's a good system here which makes it, well, I'm guessing it's going to be pretty waterproof on this bike. Good solid bash guard on there. 150mm travel on this bike and 29-inch wheels. And yeah, this is the bike that Ollie Wilkins slams around the place every day. Wheels for e-bikes. Now there's a monumental subject if ever there was one. Now we're now at the DT booth, and DT have a range of e-bike specific wheels. We did actually cover this, the HU 1900, a few months ago on the channel. That's a kind of cargo, urban sort of wheel. But for us e-mountain bikers, we're looking at two wheels in particular. We're looking at the H1900 and the HX 1700. So what's the difference? Well, the main difference is the materials and some of the features available on the wheel. This is a welded wheel, whereas this one you cannot see any of the welds on that. One thing in common of the two wheels is the fact that they've got a steel freehead body in there, obviously because the increased torque that goes through the back of the bike. So when we're looking at the 1700 and the 1900, we're not talking a massive difference in the weights here. For example, the 1700 weighs in at 2.23 kilograms for a set, whereas the 1900, it's not far off, it's 2,066 grams. Sorry to mix grams and kilos there. Different internal widths on the rims. We're looking at 30 or 35. So one thing I really like about the DT wheels is the fact that it's 28 spoke, which means that contributes to the stiffness, the flex balance of the wheel, which is really important when you're navigating super technical or rooty ground. It means that tyre stays in contact with the ground and it doesn't bounce around like you might do with an overly stiff carbon wheel. Having said that, DT do actually make a carbon version of these wheels. But what's important to understand is that the price is, we're looking at €469 a set for the 1900, whereas the 1700 comes in at $729. So there you go. E-bike wheels, DT's you guys. Now, when it comes to color coordination, or indeed hiding in the woods, it doesn't get much better than at the Specialized stand. I mean, look at this new Polartec top here for a bit of hand warming. Certainly blend into the trees with that kit. I really like this jacket. I've actually got one in grey, folks. It's super warm and a great riding top. But it's not just the clothing. We've also got the Tactic helmet, which you've got here, and matched in with a 2FO clip-light shoe, you've got a beautifully coordinated set of kit. Okay, right, if we're talking iconic mountain bike brands, then Formula has to be on that list because they were one of the first to produce a hydraulic disc brake. Now, I do think that my colleague, the Don, has got something going on with a Specialized Kenevo SL quite soon with some Formula products. But as you can see, Formula now just don't make brakes. They make shock absorbers, they make forks, and they also make wheels as well. Company from Prato, which is just south of Genoa in Italy. And I've been to the factory, actually. It's a super cool place. Everything is made there on site. And yeah, great brakes too. Now, one thing I will guarantee you that you will find if you come to a bike show is the emergence of a new bike brand. I don't think I've ever been on a trip where I've not come across a new brand. And today we've already come across Malaguti, but now we've got Whistle. I mean, you know, apologies if you've been around, I've not seen you guys, but Whistle to me is a new brand. So we've got a full Bosch Smart System bike here, 160mm travel, full carbon, comes in at £7,799. And this is the B-Rush C10.2. Now, if you're looking for a stem to change the fit of your e-mountain bike, I think there's great options here. They come in 31, 35, 40, 45, 50 and 80, I'm pretty sure. But really nice. And what I like about it is the fact that you can use it like that. And if you want to get more pressure on your front tyre, you can flip it upside down and run it like that too. No worries. Well, Garda yet again delivered us some beautiful and maybe some not so beautiful bikes. But as we found out, a great place to go and try exactly what you fancy. Let us know what you think with the highs and the lows of Riva del Garda.